Good morning, everyone. About 2 million Americans have type 1 diabetes, once called insulin dependent or juvenile diabetes, and the number of cases is rising. The FDA recently approved a drug to delay the onset of symptoms for people who are at high risk. Dr. John LaPook shows us how the treatment could buy years of health without the need for insulin.
From an early age, Anna Ferguson saw how type 1 diabetes affected her older sister, Kate.
I knew that I would never want to experience what she was going through.
In type 1 diabetes, the immune system mistakenly destroys insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. When Ferguson was 5, blood tests showed she had certain antibodies that meant her risk of developing diabetes over the next 5 years was about 75%.
As she hit that age 12 and her blood sugar started to go out of whack, then it was kind of, all right, now what are we going to do?
That's when Ferguson's parents enrolled her in a clinical trial led by Yale University immunologist Dr. Kevin Herold. It's an intravenous infusion of a specially designed monoclonal antibody called Tzield.
Instead of half of the people developing diabetes in 2 years, half of the people developed diabetes in 4 years.
When you saw those results, what was your reaction?
I was hoping it would be even longer, but any time without diabetes is a gift.
Dr. Herold says a breakthrough in diabetes treatment is long overdue.
We have better insulins, we have methods of delivering it that have advanced significantly, but it's never as perfect as your own pancreas in making insulin.
While she was earning her degree at the University of Maine, Anna Ferguson's blood sugar became too high again, so she traveled to New Haven for a second round of Tzield infusions. Side effects have been relatively mild. Even if it doesn't buy her more time without insulin, the family is grateful for the gift she's already received.
I feel incredibly lucky and, holding out hope that it works.
The list price of a single course of therapy is $193,000. But consider this. People with diabetes spend an average of nearly $10,000 a year on related medical expenses. Although a one-time treatment is expensive, Tzield could be a cost-saving treatment over the lifetime of young people like Anna.
Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
And there is hope that this same preventive approach could one day be used for other autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, or even MS. So imagine if your knee could tell your doctors everything they need to know, how much movement you have, how long is your stride. One woman's knee is sharing those details with her medical team. Stephanie Stahl reports.
This is doing extremely well.
Donna Cordero has a new smart knee. It's an implant that's equipped with sensors that track her mobility.
You can see my progress.
The movement information from the knee is wirelessly transmitted to a personal base station. That sends the data to the patient's phone and the doctor's office.
And it sends us half a dozen pieces of information.
Dr. Robert Booth with 3B Orthopedics at Jefferson Health says this is the first time specific movements can be monitored and measured from inside the knee.
I don't mean to infer that the other knees are dumb knees, it's just that we don't get any information back. It infers from the length of your stride and the cadence of your stride, whether you're limping, whether you're taking big steps, whether you're getting back into your normal pattern.
Donna is Dr. Booth's first patient to get the smart knee replacement.
I am feeling fantastic. I really am. It was the best thing I ever did for getting rid of the pain.
This was her knee before cartilage that cushions the joint had deteriorated.
So when the bones rub on one another, that's what's painful.
Pain was pretty bad. It interfered with everything. It was tough, and I just couldn't live with that kind of pain anymore.
Now, everyday activities like walking and sitting are easy and painless.
Now I really can do whatever I want to do.
Donna says tracking her mobility allowed her to adjust her physical therapy accordingly, which she says improved her recovery. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Now, the smart knee does not have a GPS. It doesn't track the patient's locations. It only measures knee movement. It's equipped with a battery that lasts for 10 years. All right, the benefit of team sports for your children. That story is ahead on Mid-Morning. Welcome back. Adults aren't the only ones who can make New Year's resolutions. This is a great time of year for children to also form some good habits for 2023 and beyond. Bradley Blackburn has more on how to help set goals and stick to resolutions.
Wendy Severino and her daughters are making New Year's resolutions for the first time.
Spend more time together as a family, have dinner together 3 to 4 days without cell phones on the table.
And the girls?
I really just want to keep my grades up since I just entered high school.
Instead of scrolling through TikTok or any other apps, we could do something more productive.
Pediatrician Dr. Steph Lee says setting goals is important for children. Resolutions can help kids make good decisions, build self-confidence, and improve troubleshooting skills.
Especially if they have trouble with reaching their New Year's resolutions, then you can help them figure out how to adapt and persevere in order to reach their goals.
Some ideas from the American Academy of Pediatrics for preschoolers cleaning up toys by putting them where they belong or trying new foods, especially different colors of vegetables. For kids 5 to 12, drinking water every day and keeping soda and fruit drinks only for special times, or trying to find a new physical activity or sport, and doing it at least 3 times a week. And for teens, trying to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep and resisting peer pressure to try cigarettes, e-cigarettes, drugs, or alcohol.
Make sure you try to encourage sticking to your goals, making sure to write them down somewhere so they're physically visible. Also, making sure that they're actually achievable.
These sisters are hopeful.
I think we can, with the motivation of our parents, we can. And
we stick together.
Yeah.
Get through it together.
Setting goals and bonding as a family. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Well, we all know there are lots of benefits when it comes to children and sports, and as Nichelle Medina reports, the benefits of team sports may just go beyond being physically active.
11-year-old Devin Silvestri enjoys the rush of stealing bases as his proud mom cheers him on.
I like playing baseball because I get to hang out with my teammates.
He calls them his brothers. He treats them like brothers, and they hang out almost every day of the week.
That sense of camaraderie could be one reason behind the findings of a recent study that suggests participating in team sports may be beneficial for children's mental health.
We don't often do a great job of looking at, is sport always beneficial? Is it perhaps sometimes stressful?
Dr. Matt Hoffman is an assistant professor of kinesiology at California State University, Fullerton. His team analyzed data on more than 11,000 children ages 9 to 13 and found those who played team sports had fewer signs of anxiety, depression, social problems, and attention difficulties. Kids who only played individual sports had greater mental health difficulties than those who did not play any sports.
You are taking, all the responsibility for a loss. You might perceive maybe that your parents or coaches, really have high expectations for you.
For Devin, there's a special bond he feels with his team, one that helps him get through the wins and the losses.
They just cheer you up when you're just down in a game.
Being on a team helped him become more social and more confident in what he does.
Fun and friendships formed on this field that will last a lifetime. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, San Diego.
And the study also found that female athletes playing both team and individual sports had a lower likelihood of rule-breaking behavior compared to those who played no sports at all. All right, so if your children received any smart toys for Christmas, you will want to hear this. Privacy advocates are concerned those internet-connected toys allowing companies to collect data on your children. One study a few years ago found that by the time a child turns 13, more than 72 million data points have been collected on them. CBS's Anna Werner introduces us to one mom who missed the fine print.
Can I have some color?
New York mom Katie Taramiji bought what she thought was a cool toy for her daughter Aubrey a couple Christmases ago, something called a fuzzable friend.
You hit the button and it speaks in its own special language. Then you ask, "Hey Alexa, what did my fuzzable say?" And Alexa
says it wants to play with toys or something.
It's the kind of fun a connected toy can make possible. But buried in the terms and conditions, which her mom says she never read, Creativity Inc., the company whose technology allowed the fuzzable to connect to Alexa, disclosed they collect anonymized information about their users and could generate transcripts of what children were saying.
I don't like it at all.
It's just one example of a growing trend, say nonprofit researchers at the U.S. Public Interest Research Group, or PIRG. Their recent report says smart toys bring new risks, including microphones and cameras paired with significant data collection. PIRG's R.J. Cross.
Having any data collected on a child that isn't strictly necessary is really reckless and unsafe.
Because often, she says, that data, although anonymized, is sold to advertisers, and she and other experts say it can be used to create profiles of children just like it can for adults. Even educational tech products can have privacy risks. When Human Rights Watch analyzed 163 educational computer learning products endorsed by 49 countries during the pandemic, 146 of them, some 90%, were found to have put at risk or directly violated children's privacy and other rights for purposes unrelated to their education. The Electronic Privacy Information Center, or EPIC, is calling on the Federal Trade Commission to strictly limit data collection on children.
It's just not really realistic for parents, as you say, to be able to parse these legal documents, understand what's happening technologically.
The FTC declined to comment. Amazon told us the third-party Fuzzable Kids skill is not currently available for Alexa customers, so Alexa cannot interact with the Fuzzable Friends toy. The device is not built by Amazon and does not have Alexa built in. Tara Miji says she'll be paying more attention to the fine print from now on, but doesn't think she should have to.
I should be able to trust the toy makers that are putting the toys on the market. You assume they're looking out for your child's best needs.
Anna Werner, CBS News, San Francisco.
Just ahead, saving the coral reefs. Mid-morning, we'll be right back. Well, as we begin the new year, there are concerns that Australia's famous Great Barrier Reef could be placed on the danger list of World Heritage Sites because of climate change. Globally, nearly half of all corals have died off. Now, in a world first, one startup in Hong Kong is trying to help coral adapt to the problems humans have caused with 3D printing and terracotta. Remy Inocencio took a dive to find out more.
Splashing into Hong Kong's subtropical waters, you might be surprised to learn more coral species live here than the Caribbean. Yet this swath of the South China Sea used to boast even more beauty.
What was here 100 years ago? We believe that this area was a coral paradise.
David Baker is a coral ecologist at the University of Hong Kong.
Those who are still with us from the World War II generation, these people tell you that the water was crystal clear, that there were coral everywhere.
But as Hong Kong industrialized, runoff and pollution bled into the waters. So Baker co-founded Aundrea-01, an eco-engineering startup to rebuild this paradise lost. His team, in a world first, 3D printed artificial reef tiles made from terracotta, non-toxic and biodegradable. They placed those on the sandy bottom of a bay and seeded them with living coral. 95% survived in the past 2 years.
How did you even come up with the idea?
I just thought to myself one evening that why not tile the seafloor like we would tile a kitchen or bathroom floor?
These tiles could have global application for coral adaptation with benefits to humanity. Reefs protect homes and businesses, breaking up destructive waves from storms.
One of the biggest red flags from scientists is that they predict 70 to 90% of the coral around the world will disappear in the next 20 years.
Trying to make a splash as fast as possible, Aundrea-01 has now expanded to Abu Dhabi, its new industrial 3D printer humming.
We have our own eco-engineering facility.
Aundrea-01 is hoping to help, one tile at a time. For CBS Mornings, Remy Inocencio, Hong Kong.
Some Christmas trees wind up at the landfill, but in London, some stores with unsold trees have found them new homes with some furry friends. Haley Ott has that story from London.
This holiday season, one man's trash is another animal's treasure. Stores in France have come up with a wild way of dealing with unsold seasonal shrubs. They're donating them to the zoo. Zookeepers say that fir trees are fantastic for our furry friends in captivity because they're something natural and new and stimulate their senses. The felines love it, this zoo worker says. It's very enriching for them in terms of smell. Just like in our holiday living rooms, zookeepers put up the donated trees in the animal enclosures. Then they decorate them with ornaments appropriate for each creature. There's meat for the tiger and ample vegetarian options. It's a really welcome change for them because they're not used to seeing fir trees in their enclosure, the zookeeper says. It will arouse their curiosity. After they're done eating, the animals get to play with their donated trees, which have been transformed from would-be garbage into a holiday gift that keeps on giving. Haley Ott, CBS News, London.
And in addition to tigers, Christmas trees are also set up for panthers, gorillas, and lemurs. All right, when we come back, helping families find hope with housing. Mid-morning, we'll return in a moment. All right, we're back, everyone. A family coping with loss together has found themselves cared for by a community. David Begnaud looks at hope and healing.
3, 6, 9 were the ages of Gregory Hopp's children when he was diagnosed with colon cancer.
3, 6, 9, love's alive.
What Greg didn't know when he wrote that song was that he and his wife Megan were both running out of time. Krista Lieber is Megan's twin sister. What happened?
She was sitting on the couch and she just took her last breath and died.
Megan had an undiagnosed heart condition and died 4 months after Greg.
Let's go!
Krista and her husband Dave went from 3 children to 6.
Complete chaos!
As they prioritized their blended family, they prioritized their health too. Both had been feeling a little off. That's when Dave was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And then came Krista's shock. Like her sister, she had a heart condition that, if left untreated, could be fatal.
My sister saved my life. You know, I say her death was not in vain.
In the months since Megan died, the community near St. Louis, Missouri has stepped in to help this little family.
There was this village of people who came together and said what to you?
Do you need food? Can I come take the kids out of the house? Do you and Dave need a break?
The help of a village and unwavering love.
Cheers.
David Begnaud, CBS News, St. Louis.
Well, sometimes a family needs a little extra help when it comes to a place to live or furniture. One woman is always on the lookout for gently used pieces. James Brown has this story from Washington.
Single mom Gloria Antolon moved to the nation's capital with next to nothing.
Got to the point where I slept in my car for maybe 3-4 days.
And your kids?
They was with me.
Oh my God!
Until they got this home.
Whoa!
All filled for free by Furnish Hope, DC.
Children deserve the bare necessities, if anything.
The women behind the Washington nonprofit find new homes for gently used furniture.
On my way here today, around the corner from me, there is a beautiful queen mattress sitting out with the garbage. I went and knocked on the door. I asked if we could put it aside.
Do you know this neighbor?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, so they didn't think you were crazy coming to
They
them
did,
asking.
but I do know the neighbor.
Founder Nikki Mock often does the pickups in her own pickup. And women like Antolon, now a volunteer, find new purpose here.
So you need everything. Yes.
Even though you're just getting the footing yourself,
Right.
you're excited about helping others to get the
Yes.
footing that you now have.
Yes.
And you're enjoying that.
Yes.
Giving more than just furniture a new future. James Brown, CBS News, Washington.
World-famous artist Vincent van Gogh achieved widespread acclaim only after he died. He never got to enjoy his success or see the powerful influence of his paintings on other artists. Nancy Chen introduces us to another artist who once feared he could face obscurity as well.
How many pieces do you have left at this point?
Well, that's a good question. I don't really know.
Painter Scott Kahn worries he's running low on inventory.
The stacks used to come out here and the racks were all filled up.
These days, the 76-year-old's work is snatched up. Decades worth of paintings, once rarely noticed.
I was convinced I would die in obscurity and poverty, and that they would cart me out of there in a pine box.
Kahn spent his life as the definition of a starving artist, but his dedication always remained firm.
I'd been down to zero many times, below zero, negative zero.
That all changed dramatically a few years ago when he struck up an unlikely friendship with a reclusive artist named Matthew Wong.
He bought a painting of mine, and he put it on his Instagram feed, and that's what triggered this enormous interest in my work. People started streaming through my studio door, collectors, dealers, other artists, and it went on non-stop.
5 years ago, how much was a painting of yours selling for?
Well, just a few $1,000s.
And how much did your last painting sell for?
$1 million.
Sadly, Wong never got to see his friend's accomplishments. He took his own life in 2019 at the age of 35.
What did Matthew Wong mean to you?
Matthew was a soulmate to me.
And as Kahn continues on the path Wong helped carve, his newfound recognition is a testament to unwavering commitment.
I have two priorities. One is life, and the other is freedom. I love my painting. I will never stop painting. But life is, what a journey it is.
Kahn doesn't pretend to understand his late success. He's just happy that it allowed him to continue his passion. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
All right, we'll be right back to wrap things up. Stay with us. All right, be sure you stay connected with us. We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you back here tomorrow.